Hello there, world. This is Nai Coach. Hope you don't mind my slightly dourness right now. I was super excited just a little bit ago because I got this filming done. Which I was a bit daunted for. I've been preparing all week, and I did it, and I forgot to do the thing with the mic, and there was no sound. Like, no, I did. I paced, and I was upset. I'm mainly past that now, but calm. Okay, so we're here. I actually thought about like resting for another day or another week before getting back on, but I was like, no, I need to do this. So here we are. Okay, my higher spirits are with me. Help me get to where I need to be. Okay, so where were we? We were with PASS 11, I think, last time I came on. And that was on the precipice of achieving core purity for the data collection. So it's very exciting, and we're hoping that the PASS 12 I was going to get to all ingots. I had a few ingots in PASS 11, the other ones were looking close. So after doing a bit of PASS 12, I got this paper here, all ingots on the ZES, the larger sections. So that was a big moment, and it gave me confidence to go on and do that with the JES sections. So then I did PASS 12 complete, get the second half of it, and I got half of the JES to ingot form. I was like, oh, so close. So I need to do another time around, not fully. It was only 8 I needed to do again. So I called that PASS 12 and a quarter. PASS 12 and a quarter is when we achieved core purity for the data collection. With that, the primary reason I was nervous about doing this filming, and I have had nervousness and anxiety and fear and so on for some time now doing these passes. As I've worked through, there's a lot more ZES than JES. Within that, there's a lot more OB than sub. Within the OB, there's a lot more AD than DIR. These are all things that need to be accepted. And with that some of the sections, particularly the JES sections, would get quite small. So there was the concern, the worry that one of them might bottom out. And so I've been sort of holding on to that fear until finally I got past it, and we have zeroed out on the GVI male. This doesn't please me, but it is what it is. It is the correct way to go. I've been here before, in a way, with some of the other sections that got, the categories that got quite low. And what worked for me was to take the lowest number I felt solid with and then just accept it. Walk away, spend time working in other areas, and then swing back after a while. When I did that, those categories that had gotten quite small number, some of them, they got a few more, not a lot, but they did get a few more once I just accepted the lowest number, and then with a clear, uncompromised lens, I came back and looked at it, and there were a few more that could be approved, could be confirmed. Other of the categories that got quite small did the same thing, took it a small that I felt solid, walked away for a while, came back, and then it held, but it didn't bring back any more. It just stayed at that very low number. So that's where we are with the GVI male, with the 0. Is I'm just going to accept that. I'm going to accept that that's the number possibly that we'll get before we do outreach, and prepare myself to do outreach from that position. All right. The upsides is we can now continue with next steps. So what are some of those next steps? Well, let's see if I can read here. This paper used to be uncrumpled. I did the last film. I was like, yay! Oh, I was building up all week to do it. I finally did it. I was like, yeah, crumpled the paper up, threw it in the trash can, walked around, saw the mic wasn't on. I was like, no. No. All right, this is good. I'm starting to be able to laugh at it. So that's part of converting the energy to positive. Okay, so speaking of other positives, is PASS 13 is what's planned next. I'm going to go through the entire collection because right now it feels really strong. We got core purity, and one thing that helped me a great deal with that was really zoning in, really focusing strongly on the mouth and face shapes. And that was one of the things that allowed me to see past, for example, ADOBs as Nizai, Vizai, who are more hard, more squinty, more like, dominant or pushy or aggressive or whatever word you want to put for it, more yang in their way, realizing that they had, for example, G3 not Zhai 4. Zhi 4 would mean they've been one of the Z first, the Zi or the Zi. And despite having kind of a bearing that you could really see in a more yang way, they are in fact add categories. They have G3. So that's very, very helpful. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go through on PASS 13, and I'm going to compare all the two categories that have the same mouth and face shape, Nizai versus Vizai, Zenai versus Zivai, and so on, and really focus on the difference there. So I'm looking forward to that, and I've been talking to Jailene for a while about how excited I am to do that high-level aesthetic comparison on the whole collection, and I am where I need to be to do that. So that'll be PASS 13. Then PASS 14. It's very common when we're reading categories to go right to, for example, obzes, subzes, objes, subjes. And then you have to work sometimes a bit harder from there. So I want to kind of focus on that and spend a pass where I do the quads, comparing quads. For example, all the obzes. Zenai, Zivai, Vizai, and Nizai all together, the four of them, and comparing. And the same with the other quads. So that's the plan there. While it's happening, concurrently, there's me PASS 15, which is Jailene going through and touring the collection, seeing all the latest and greatest discoveries, getting all up to speed on the most current. And I'm also doing a prep PASS tour before she goes in, because that's, she inspires me to bring the best quality. It sounds like the final last thing I do before she goes through. With that said, we'll be doing passes through the collection for years to come because it's fun, it's exciting, it's cool to see different things. Like I'm excited to go through and compare the eye. That's neat. There's all kinds of compare and contrast I'm excited to do. That will go on for years to come with teaching and so on. With that said, PASS 15, I believe, is where I feel quite confident going to outreach. As far as the age of mojo, that is here, people. We have arrived at the age of mojo. You could say we were there maybe in a softer form earlier when I made the discoveries, when I described them accurately and so on. With the pop culture riddle being solved to core purity, we are definitely here. So it is time. Anyone who wants to jump in, now would be a really good time. And I advise looking into mouth face shape sooner rather than later. It pays dividends early on and in advanced work. What else? Well, there were a few people that I said I would look into their cases. They asked, and I thought their cases were interesting to me, so I said I would look into that. And for them, I hope you understand, being more patient. It's after PASS 15, I think that would be the best time, because that's where I feel comfortable knocking on strangers' doors and getting them to come take a look at the data collection, answer questions, feedback, critique, whatever. So that feels like the right position to be going back to doing public reads. I won't be doing many of them, but I did say I would do a few, and those people have been patient so far. Hope you will be understanding and continue to be patient, because this is very important and we want to do it right. And that feels like the right time. So after PASS 15, but before I start knocking on digital doors for outreach, I will get into those few cases that I said I would. All right, what else? We're still, with these last purifications I did, we're still solidly over 20K, 20,000, which is the size I wanted to get for outreach, so we're good there. So basically, now the celebrating can start. I was a bit daunted to do this. Last Saturday is when I just came to that moment of the Zhivai may just be bottomed out. And I just have to accept that they're bottomed out. And from there, it's basically just been like a healing process from there till now, preparing myself. I actually thought for a second I was going to fill right afterwards. I was like, no. So I had to kind of build myself back up. But I got up each day. Some days I didn't want to get up, but I got up and did worthy work, and it took me further. And the upside is it went from, oh, what if one of these things bottoms out? What if, and just like that weighted it to, well, it happened. So here we are, and now I can just accept it and go forward from here. And I think there's a good chance that we'll find some if we as a global community of humans understand this phenomenon and start keeping our eye out. I think we'll see the Zhivai male in places, and we'll see more of these other categories that have few in pop culture. But we'll need to do that together. We'll need lots of trained, knowledgeable eyeballs out there looking for said persons. Okay, yeah. So on the celebrating, outreach, I can really start, I've already been thinking about that for years, but now with core purity achieved, that's what was needed. I need to have that platform for when I start talking to people, because I'm going to talk forward and I'm going to talk bold, and I'll need to have that solid platform. Also, art. There's a lot of art ideas I want to do with Jailene and so forth that I want the data collection and the art to reference each other in a cool way. So I needed that to be first. I need to get core purity. Here it is. So the art, that can flow. The experiments, the initial experiments that people will be doing, the way asking them to take a look at the data and do compare and contrasts, need that to have core purity for that. We're there. And then finally, Popular Proclamation, the ebook, where it kind of break down the various implications of what is going on, references the data material extensively. So that's all ready to go. So the celebrations can begin. And yeah, next few days, I'm going to do some paperwork stuff. I've been doing ideas for vlogs and just keeping them on the side because I couldn't get to them. I'm going to go through that a little bit and organize some. And just a few days, and then boom, back into the data collection for PASS 13. Okay, so I think that's it. Stay tuned, and we'll be talking later.